Everybody, it's me, Willow, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have another film review for you guys today. It's going to be a very interesting discussion. We have Weapons, which is the newest film I just saw from director Zack Cregger's. This is the first film I've seen from this director, though his previous film, Barbarian, was very popular. I was actually a little bit too scared to watch it just because horror isn't something I usually gravitate towards, even though I would not classify this like a horror film, really. It does have a few jump scares, but it's not really a horror movie. I would say it's more of like a thriller mystery, but we'll get more into that afterwards. So people really did enjoy Barbarian. So I know a lot of people were very intrigued by Weapons. It's definitely been one of the most anticipated films of the year. People really did love the trailer, myself included. I was really intrigued by the sneak peek that they released about a week and a half ago before they put the movie out for this weekend. So I'm excited to talk about the film. This will be a spoiler discussion. So if you've not seen the film, go check it out and save this video in your watch later. And then make sure you come back to this review because I'd love to discuss all of it in the comments with you guys. So let's discuss the film. All right. So I wasn't the biggest fan of it, if I'm going to be honest. I was really waiting for the shoe to drop, this mystery to be revealed, the grand plan. And then when it was, I was like, I don't know. I find that there's a lot of visual moments in this film that really threw me for a loop. I'm just going to say the biggest one for me. We have this one moment where Josh Brolin's character, Archer, I believe his name, is like sleeping and then he wakes up in the middle of the night. He's been sleeping in his son's room. All of a sudden when he wakes up, he is standing and he sees his body like sleeping in his son's bed, and the door opens. It's 2:17, the time that all of these kids have been running away. His son runs out. He sees the path that his son runs, and then it's like a loop. He goes back into the house. It's all just like a dream. And he sees Amy Madgines. Is that how you say her last name? Like the antagonist in the film, Aunt Gladys. He sees her, and it's like a jump scare, and this whole thing leads to him realizing how the kids leave, and there's kind of like a pattern to where they're leading. But before he goes back into the house, he sees this visual in the sky. It like forms. It's a gun, and it says 2:17, which is the time that the kids are leaving. This is before we see that this is Aunt Gladys's doing. It is like some sort of magic that she has, like dark magic that she's been able to use to control these people. I was like, okay, is this like a commentary on gun control with all these kids? Because they're showing the gun, and the only other time we see a gun is with Alden Ehrenreit's character Paul, because he's a police officer and he threatens Austin Abrams' character, who I forget what his name is, but he's like a unhoused person who is using drugs, and they have like a kerfuffle. He ends up threatening Austin's character with the gun, and that's really the only time we see the gun. The gun gets brought back later in the film, but it's not to be tied into the mystery at all. That really threw for me for a loop. I don't understand that visual at all. If I'm being honest, I don't fully understand the 2:17 thing at all either. I guess it's just a random time that they chose for Gladys to do it in the middle of the night. I personally think it would have made a little bit more sense if they had her doing this maybe around closer to 3. I know 2 is pretty close to 3. I guess that's kind of the witching hour, but if they're trying to play into this like dark magic, I don't know why they didn't just do 3. I guess they wanted to really catch them, like catch the audience with the marketing ploy of all these kids got up at 2:17 in the morning and they ran away and they were never to be seen again. I'm like, okay, like just because it's 2:17 is a random time. So I'm really hung up on those little things, and the 2:17 I can get past that, but I just don't see this masterpiece that so many people are seeing. I went onto my Letterboxd and I looked at all of my friends to see what they were thinking. And I would say maybe like 3 out of all of my friends, and a lot of them have seen it. I would say there was maybe like 15 reviews. 3 didn't like it. And they 2 of them still had high, like a 3.5, which in my opinion, a 3.5 is like quite a good rating. I still feel like that's pretty solid. That's a solid film, you know? Definitely needed some improvements, but still very enjoyable and I would say solid. I don't think this was a solid film. I think the first half was pretty good. I really did enjoy the build up, though when we got to maybe more than halfway, when we finally were revealed about Aunt Gladys and the magic and stuff, which I don't think that was the half point. I think that was like third act. Like that was the very like wrapping it up the last 40 minutes, I would say. I just thought this was the slowest burn, if I'm being honest. So slow. And I was sitting for it. I was like, okay, I'm waiting patiently. I am really enjoying these performances. I think Julia Gardner as Justine is terrific. Really do love her. I think this is also very similar to Wolfman. I think she gives a I don't know, she has more to do here than in Wolfman, but I feel like Wolfman was also kind of half baked. It really relied on the performances and some of like the final CGI with the werewolf. But with this, like I both of them kind of fall short, don't give my characters like a closing. Like okay, we just have this final ending with the kids and it seems like okay, some of them are talking again, but what's his name? Axel and his parents cannot take care of him. They have been placed in a medical facility and now he's being taken care of by his real other aunt. So obviously, I just didn't like how the film wrapped up. I felt like it was such a long movie, such a slow burn. The reveal was not what I was hoping for. And I'm all into magic. I think this actually could have been really interesting if they played a little bit more into the magic, but I feel like it wasn't explained enough. We just have to get by with Aunt Gladys. Like, and my question is Aunt Gladys actually related to Axel's family, or is she just like this crazy being that manifested herself into their lives? I feel like it did seem like she was a part of their family, but I didn't understand how they didn't know about this whole magic and everything that she has. Where did that come from? She has like this what seems like a bonsai tree that you break the branches off and you take a piece of a person's hair and wrap it around the branch and then prick yourself on the branch and get the blood going and sacrifice a little bit of it on the hair and the branch and then break the branch. That person's hair, that's like a piece of them, it will then connect them to the branch or like the name tags with the kids. I guess that was used instead of the hair as an offering, and the blood, you can then control them. I'm like, okay, like that. I think that's very intriguing, but I wanted to know more about this. I wanted more of the lore. I'm so interested in the lore. I felt like the buildup of the kids being missing and then they were just in the basement for what? Like to make her live longer? Was that what it was? Like I don't really understand what the point was. I like all the elements. I think the acting's great from Julia Garner. I think Josh Brolin gives a pretty great performance as well. He a few emotional moments that I felt were very poignant. I can see the tension between him and his wife at the beginning of the film and how, maybe they're pulling away because of this tragic incident of losing their child and he's not doing well at work either, making mistakes. So I thought that was really great too. Loved Benedict Wong. I thought he deserved much larger role. I was great to see him interact with that other actor that played his husband in the film. And that whole action scene was brutal with how he gets controlled by Gladys. He just pummels his head into his husband's face and kills him. brutal. I had to close my eyes. I couldn't watch it. That was probably the scariest thing I think in the whole film was that one action scene. And that's really the extent I'd say to the brutality in the film. We get one or two other couple moments of people being strangled, but you know, they get let go and they're able to catch their breath again. Nothing super extremely violent there. I guess there is a few like needle moments with Austin Abrams' character with his used needles. He stabs Paul, called an Aaron Wright's character, in the face with some used needles. So that's a bit much. But besides that, like, and just cutting Gladys's hand, not really brutal, if I'm being honest. I thought it'd be scarier. I thought like the ploy for the kids, something would be with that. And I just didn't find good execution. I think the script was kind of poorly written. I think it was too focused on the first hand, like setting everything up, building up this tension of what's this mystery, what's going on inside Axel's house, with it being all boarded up, and Justine seeing it and kind of seeing a mom and the dad being super still, and then we later see the mom coming out and cutting Justine's hair in the car. I think all of that is fantastic lead up. Even a couple of the jump scares with Gladys's character I think is interesting as well, because it kind of leads up to this the big bad. I thought it was a clown at first. I didn't realize it was this like old woman who is really fantastic in the film. I really do like her too, like in her more broken moments and then in her more like intimidating moments. I think she's very interesting as well. But then again, like the execution, just I think it's a really lacking. I think that's my main criticism with the film is that I think the execution is just really lacking, and the horror and the action as well. I think this is much more of a, like I said, a thriller mystery leaning into a drama. The first hour of the film is really just like a drama, the mystery of where the kids went. And then we get a little bit of some horror stuff with Benedict Wong's character, like I mentioned, some tension, jump scare stuff, but yeah, I wouldn't say this is like a scary movie. I was laughing, just having fun. I was like, my endorphins were going with the jump scares. I was having fun, and just the execution really killed it for me. And I'll be honest too, like I didn't mention this earlier, but at the biggest moment in the film, so Josh Brolin and Julia Gardner's characters have entered Axel's house, and they are being attacked by the possessed Paul and possessed Austin's character. And they're being attacked, and as Julia Gardner is going for the peeler because she's being attacked by Paul, the screen went completely black. I waited for a second. I was like, did the movie just cut out? But I was like, wait, maybe this is a jump scare. I closed my eyes. I was scared for a minute. I thought Gladys was about to come down. And my theater was pretty empty. I went to a 12:50 screening and there was only like 7 other people in there. We waited for a good like maybe 2 minutes, and then there was a group of boys in front of us and they're like, I think I heard the film fry. So we had to go out. We had to wait like another 10 minutes for them to get the screen back on. And then when they put it on about for 20 minutes for like what we had already seen, to like before the kids have even been possessed, like all the whole big reveal. Like, they're like, oh my goodness, we watched for another 5 minutes. And then one of the boys finally gets up again and it's like, can you please push forward? They finally push forward. We get back to the action scene. We have to rewatch the whole action scene over. We finally get to the peeler scene. And oh my god, that was brutal. Didn't like that either. And then the movie just kind of like wraps up. So they literally, like, the movie blacked out at like the biggest climax of the film with 5 minutes left. It took us like at least 20 to 30 minutes to finally get back to it with the workers. And it was just, I didn't like it. Like I really don't think it was just because of that experience, because I was really the entire time, like I said, I was really waiting for the shoe to drop. I felt like I was being very patient. I was like, I'm seeing what we're doing here. Maybe I don't fully understand what the point is, but we're about to get to the point. Everything's going to make sense. You know, this reveal is going to connect everything together. And it just didn't. I was like, that's it. And I don't think you want that when you're coming out of a movie. So this one wasn't for me. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts because obviously it's been getting great reviews. I think it has come down a little bit on Rotten Tomatoes, but I'm pretty sure it was in the high 90s. And like I said, on Letterboxd, I'm pretty sure it's at a 3.9 rated right now for The Curve. And the majority of my friends really liked it, giving it like 4.5 stars. Like, what? I don't see a 4.5 star movie there at all. Like, I'm not even gonna give this a 3. I think I'm gonna give this movie a 2. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a 2.5. But like, nothing about it really stunned me. I like the performances. I think all of the actors were great. I think the child actor Axel was okay. I think he could have been a little bit stronger, but I think he was doing well for what he was given. I think they could have maybe deepened his character a bit more. They could have made me understand more of the complexities of how he was feeling about his parents and how Gladys was possessing his classmates and how he had to be so isolated. I would have liked to know more about the magic. Like he ended up doing the magic in the end and getting all of the kids to possess Gladys and destroy Gladys. And I would have liked to know a little bit more, like what are the repercussions now that he's used the magic? Is he completely fine? I feel like this kind of reminded me of Cuckoo a bit. I liked Cuckoo and I thought it was interesting, but it didn't like fully work for me. I even liked Cuckoo a bit more than this because I thought it was more original and a bit more visually interesting with the location. Like with this, it was like suburbia. I thought the scenes in the dark were pretty annoying, if I'm being honest. There's a lot of scenes in the dark, and we didn't even get like horror in the dark. Most of the horror stuff happens during the daytime, which I think that's subversive, a bit different. But the darkness is just used as a ploy, and it's like I can't see anything. If you're gonna have dark scenes, at least light it properly when you're filming and then color correct and do everything proper in post so I can see things, because I'm there in the dark theater and it's a dark scene. I can barely see Julia Gardner's face, who's a bleach blonde, and she's pale as a ghost. So I feel like your second film, when you got like a really good response from the first one. Obviously, you got a huge budget increase in this one. You got huge names. Now he's complaining about Pedro Pascal dropping out and to recast everybody. And like, bro, just I don't see this masterpiece that people are saying. So those are my thoughts. I don't think I have much more to say. I think that's my general gist of it. I did like the first half, the lead up. I thought it was great. The performances were pretty good too. I thought the magic was okay, interesting enough, but I wish they would have. Again, my criticism these days, dig deeper. I wanted to know more about the lore, more about Gladys. Where did she come from? What was really the point? So she could, because they kept saying that she was sick and she wasn't feeling well. Like, Axel help her with the classmates and so she could possess them. I'm like, okay, was that all just like a ploy? Because obviously she was trying to manipulate him at certain points, but was she trying to seek like, eternal youth, or did she just want to have these possession? She just wanted to be able to possess these people for control. I just don't understand what the point was. What was the execution? I just didn't see it. So that's my thoughts on Weapons from director Zack Cregger's. I'd love to hear all of your guys' thoughts below in the comments. I'm really intrigued by everybody's opinions on this one, just because I feel like it's been pretty praised and I'm just not a fan of it. So love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, because all the interaction really helps with my channel, helps to push it out there in the algorithm. If you want to see more videos like these, film reviews, pop culture stuff, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button so you get notified every time I post a video, which is trying to be more frequently. I'm trying to get 1 to 2 videos out a week like I originally intended. If you want to know more about me, more content, go check out my TikTok and check out my Letterboxd. Also, check me on Awards Expert. You can find me all at Willow D. Steele. And then for Awards Expert, it's Lost in Film. All of that is linked down below in the box. So make sure you subscribe because I want to see you on my next video. I want to see you in the comments. And thank you so much for supporting my channel. I really appreciate all the interaction. As like I said, it really helps my channel to grow and push me out in the algorithm. So let me know what you guys thought of weapons, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.